Hi Akshat, thank you so much for joining us today. Everyone, we have Akshat Saxena, who is the co-founder of EPayLater, which is India's first digital credit card for self-employed professionals. Thank you so much, Akshat.
Thank you, Pooja, for inviting me. Really appreciate that.
So Akshat, what I'll do, I'll directly jump to the main burning questions right now, which all founders are actually discussing. Are you guys affected by the ongoing scenario, or are you able to sail through with work from home options and still maintaining what's happening?
So I don't think anybody can really say that he or she is not affected, at least to the extent I know. So to be honest, most of what we do is anyway, can be done on the internet. Our entire product has a digital journey to it. So yeah, in terms of our and a lot of work anyway used to happen, through teams that are working remotely with each other. So for us, from a product development standpoint, it's not so much of a change, and I think we have the minimal change impact on the product development side. As far as market outreach is concerned, yes, we do have an impact there. Our business primarily deals around, we do a lot of work with small retailers, kirana players, chemists, pharmacies, and all, and we do see an impact there. Some of them are finding it difficult to sort of get the supplies, and likewise. But yeah, we do see a change now in last couple of days, more specifically. In the beginning of the lockdown period, there was a lot of confusion, but over last few days, things have sort of started stabilizing. People have resumed their business, and we are hopeful that at this trajectory, things should return to normal, or almost normal sometime very soon.
Sure, absolutely, Akshat. What are some of the steps that you guys might have taken in your business to be able to go through this phase very easily? So I understand market outreach is a problem, which means, of course, revenues will be hit, but expenses, like you're a 180-member team across 8 cities right now. So have you had to do the layoffs and the salary cuts that all other companies are doing?
So okay, so on the business continuity side, we had prepared in advance. So we had even the team members who uh, were sort of not working remotely, primarily our customer support team and a few other team members of ours. So we quickly got them laptops, got the those software installed in their machines and stuff. And in fact, we had announced a work from home much ahead of the lockdown period. In terms of layoffs and all, no, we have not laid off anyone.
Wow, that's actually great, because all the companies that I've been talking to for the last 1 week now, this is the first that I'm hearing. Where so it's actually a very good thing if you're absolutely not impacted from a numbers perspective at least. So good to know, Akshat. Akshat, a lot of things are happening in this time where work from home model. A lot of meetings which we otherwise we feel that okay, we're going to meet some important people, partnerships. So we usually go and meet in person. Now those meetings are also happening online. So do you think these kind of changes are going to stay in your company, or do you think they'll be going back to the regular face-to-face versions?
So I think it's a new normal which is setting in, and I think I mean people are getting used to this style of functioning. For us, again, we deal with very different kind of audiences. So we have our investors, we have our banking partners, we have a lot of our large corporates that we work with. Honestly, we see a shift there. I think there is now everybody is on one or the other digital communication tool, and it's pretty well understood that yeah, if we're talking about meeting, it will be it will be a Zoom call or a Google call, Google Hangout, or one of those. And so yeah, I think it's going to continue. In fact, to be very honest, we don't feel that this is in any way sort of not as effective as an in-person meeting. In fact, you save your time commuting and stuff. So that way, we've seen some efficiencies coming in because of this change. But whether this would happen across the board, and I honestly don't think so. I mean, there are merits of an interpersonal or a face-to-face conversation. You can do certain things like brainstorming a little better. Uh, Maybe I'm talking for just myself here, but I'm more used to having a whiteboard with me and sort of scribbling down my thoughts and stuff, and I did it together with somebody else. I mean, that's something which I feel that I'm not able to do as effectively as I would have been able to had it been a face-to-face conversation. So that's one. And a lot of people that we deal with, they do not have this kind of technology, honestly. So yeah, I mean, I'm talking about some of my customers who are, let's say, kirana outlet and all, who are still more comfortable having a face-to-face conversation, and you need to be in front of them. I mean, they develop that confidence only when they see a person and stuff. So I think for the change to seep in at that level, I think it will take some time. But if I may broadly put it, roughly 70% of my interactions have shifted to video calls, and I don't see an impact. On the other 30%, I do see an impact, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon.
Right. Great. And Akshat, in your company, whatever has worked in the last 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, let's say, and what you think it will work in the next 1, 2, 3 weeks, could you share some of the better tips and tricks that other founders can maybe adopt to? Because yours is the first company that's actually not affected. I mean, more than anything, we really want to hear.
So, I mean, first of all, I wouldn't say we are not affected. I think we are affected. It's just that we have not laid off anyone. That's the only thing that we have done, which is possibly different from others that you are speaking to. In terms of what we have done, uh, I think it's also a function of business model. So for us, our go-to market has been a combination of both digital as well as physical. So digital piece remains intact. There is no change there, but the physical one does get impacted. Thankfully for us, the digital was the predominant leg through which we used to reach out to the market. So yeah, so that way again the impact is not as much, and I think we've just gotten lucky, to be very frank. I won't really pat my back on anything amazing that I have done, because of which, yeah. So it's just because of the nature of business that we have.
Right. So you didn't have to pull out of any marketing budget, so to say. You're continuing business the way it was from a lead gen or whatever outreach perspective, or digital, I mean.
On digital, we continue to run our campaigns the way we used to, but there have been a few changes that we have done, to be very honest. Now, that again, not because of the fact that those are digital campaigns, but because we are going a little slow in signups right now, and that's primarily because, I mean, the nature of business we are again, and that's again because of the business that we are in. So we're into lending business, and in a lending business right now, there's not enough liquidity in the market. So we have again gone a little slow on our customer signups. Uh, but I mean, technology or the channel is not so much of a constraint. It's because of the liquidity, and I think with the new changes which RBI has, or the new announcement which RBI has made, they have reduced the interest rates and stuff. They're trying to infuse liquidity in the economy. I think once there is more liquidity, then we would again go back to our normal sign up rates. But the channel would predominantly remain digital.
Got it. Akshay, this was very helpful. One last thing is that we would want to know is, the moment this lockdown gets lifted, what is the first thing that you're going to do in your business?
So, see, I've been in touch with a lot of my customers trying to understand that how they are impacted, because we look at ourselves not as just a standalone entity, but as a network of people who work together, a network of organizations that work together. Even if I say that my company is not that impacted on certain fronts, some of my customers are impacted, and some of them are quite significantly impacted. We have been in discussion with them trying to figure out if there's any technology solutions that we can build for them, right? Not for us, but for them, which can help them, mitigate this impact, minimize this impact. So that's what we've been working on. So the first thing which I would like to do is to sort of speak to them and figure out that what has been the delta which the technology has been able to bring in, and I would also like to understand from them that what is it that we can do together, so that we can make their business more future compatible and insulated from any similar such risk should something like this arise in future.
Sure, sure.
So I think this is something which was absolutely unforeseen, and all of us have been taken by surprise, and a lot of us have been caught off guard. Including my business, I mean, not just my business, but I would also like to work with my partners and my peers and everybody around me to see how we can all prepare ourselves better for this, should something like this happen. So that's something which I would like to do as first thing after this gets over.
Great, great, great. And Akshat, do you think this is getting over on April 14th? Or I know it's like $1 million question and no one really can answer it, but just to get your perspective.
Okay, so I'm really hoping that it does, at least in phases. So, like our honorable Prime Minister has sort of alluded that yeah, it would be maybe the government will start lifting the lockdowns in phases. But I mean, honestly, I know very little really to comment on this. I can only express what I'm hoping for. I do hope that I mean, God forbid, if it continues, even in certain pockets, we figure out there are no disruptions in terms of delivery of essentials, or healthcare services, or for the matter, financial services or anything of that sort. Yeah, so that's something which I'm hoping for.
Great, great, great. Good. Akshay, this was a very good discussion, and I'm hoping a lot of entrepreneurs are going to benefit from this. Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations that you're not affected as much as a lot of other startups, and we hope that it continues that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Pooja. I wish everybody all the very best.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.